Good morning, you hairy lap dogs. It's 2:55 in Guam. Ronda Rousey, who tapped out Kat Zingano in 14 seconds, believes she could beat 100% of males in her division. My question is, Nose, how much you weigh?
Not enough. Happy birthday to Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq Diesel, 43.
I played basketball with him once.
This is the Nose Holt.
And this is Bagman Baggett.
And we're just saying.
I was thinking the other day that, in the 90s, 80s and 90s, I was big into sports. Watched the NBA, watched the NHL, watched the NFL, watched Major League Baseball. And then I realized that I'm just not into the NBA anymore. I mean, when in the 90s and 80s and 90s, watched Bird, watched Johnson, grew up with Jordan, loved it. But when Jordan retired, watched Shaq a little bit, watched Kobe a little bit, and then as time went on, I just didn't care about the NBA.
So you're saying the NBA changed because the people changed?
I mean, what I'm saying is that, I was a big NHL fan too. Back in the day, 80s and 90s, I played hockey. Wayne Gretzky, Patrick Waugh, Cam Neely, Mark Messier. And then Gretzky retires, Lemieux retires. I actually moved up here and lost all interest in hockey.
So is it regional, or is there something out there? Because I'm with you on NBA. Once Jordan left, not as exciting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what I'm torn. I don't know if the product just isn't as good anymore. And the reason I bring this up is because with Derek Jeter retiring, I'm thinking, am I going to go back into that slump like in the late 80s where I didn't watch the Yankees anymore? And I'm torn between, is the product just bad? Am I just not interested in it anymore? Or is it because I have what a friend of mine describes as trimming your sports tree?
Well, I can relate to that in terms of once Dale Earnhardt passed away, stopped watching NASCAR. Rules changed after that anyway. Totally disagreed, and I've stopped watching it.
So the product changed. The person you watch it for most of the time changed, which begs another question: is are we sports fans or are we team fans? And that's the third part of the question. And let me explain to you, the trimming the sports tree. He explains it really well. It's like when we're kids and we're in college, we have no responsibilities, so we're allowed to have this huge sports tree. We graduate from school, we got to get a job, we got to trim down our sports tree so we don't watch as much sports. We get married, we trim it down a little bit more. We have a kid.
Unless you have a wife that loves your same sport.
That's true. But then we still have to trim out the ones she doesn't.
You're right.
Then we have a kid and you trim it down a little bit more. You get older.
What about your friends relation-wise? Mm-hmm. If your friends watching a game on Sunday, if I'm not into your team, I come over and watch it?
I know. Do you come over? And it's the same thing with friends. You could say trimming your friend's tree too. I mean, you get less friends.
The older that you get.
The older you get because the more responsibilities you have.
But I think you bring up a valid point. NBA-wise, to me, was more exciting with that generation of gentlemen. You had Karl Malone. John Stockton. I mean, you could go through, and the NBA did their
Hakeem
top 50.
Olajuwon.
They did their top 50. That was our generation of watching those great players play.
Right.
Most of those were those 50 were during our generation.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the NBA puts a good product out there, I think, for this generation, enough that they get hooked into it. But that's another thing I've noticed. Like kids today, when I was 13, 14 years old, I was into sports. I was into 4 different sports. These kids couldn't tell you the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
You're right.
I would bet you half of them. Or anybody in the NBA beyond the top 10.
I believe we've watered it down.
Yeah.
Is what we could say. We've watered major sports down.
Mm-hmm. And I think ESPN's and Fox News, Fox Sports, and all the major news, sports news network do the same thing. They have helped us trim our tree, not only by giving us the flash bang, 20-second highlight clip. They've also told us, which was kind of my point yesterday. They've also told us what sports are important.
Well, all right. So you're saying sports tree. I'm going to go back to your whole thing of, do we watch players, or do they watch players now? Did we watch players then and like the team then, or do they watch now just for players?
My point was more so of like he asked me, are you a baseball fan or are you a Yankees fan? All right, and will you, if there's another baseball game on?
So if Tampa Bay and Kansas City Royals are
I'm not watching that.
You're not watching
That's garbage.
Gotcha.
I would watch college baseball before I watch Tampa Bay and Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
All right. Granted, I'll watch the Yankees. I'll watch the Red Sox because they matter to me. I'll watch the Dodgers because I love Vince Scully. And it's just different now. I mean, growing up, we had the Cubs and we had the Braves on every single day. We had WGN and TBS or TNT, and we had baseball. My brother hated me. My brother strongly disliked me because he hated baseball, and I watched it all the time. Now it's like, I mean, I'm not watching unless it's some big names. I mean, same thing with the NBA.
Right, unless it matters around now,
right.
Playoff times, finals, don't watch them.
And I would love to get back into it. I'd love to be back into NHL and watch it. All right, but I don't know what happened. I guess I was a fan of the team, fan of the player, not the game. I don't know.
It's all about money now.
Yeah.
That's my discussion with that,
all
but
right.
that's for another day.
All right, go ahead.
So, March Madness, getting into
crazy
predicaments here. Topping the NCAA at this moment, still Wisconsin, Virginia, Duke, Kentucky. Are any of those going to be in the Final Four? Any of those going to be a championship team? Also, we're going to talk about bubbles and automatic bids. And I know you're really ticked off about the automatic bid.
Chomping at the bid for that one.
So we're going to take your input. I'm going to give mine real quick.
All right.
Out of those four teams I named, Virginia, Wisconsin, Duke, and Kentucky. And I know we're not giving due to another team there, but out of those four, do one of those make it to the finals?
The Final Four? Of those, I would say two of them.
At least two of those.
If I had to predict.
Okay.
I would go Wisconsin and Kentucky.
Wisconsin, Kentucky.
I think those are going to be your easiest brackets.
The easier bracket will be Kentucky's. I will contend
Absolutely.
that. But I'm going to go with your Wisconsin.
All right.
Even though that's against most of my
And against
morality.
Kentucky with the easier bracket.
I'm still going to go against Kentucky because they're going to meet a tougher team, which they haven't faced. Wisconsin usually chokes, but I'm going to go with them this year, making it to the Final Four. And
I'm just going to give you my $20 right now.
I'm going to go Virginia.
If we doing the bracket, I'm giving you. Look, I'm taking my wallet out right now. I don't have $20. I'll write you an IOU because I don't know anything.
So automatic bids.
You know why I like Kentucky?
Why?
2 words. Ashley Judd. Enough said. Just saying.
The Wildcat.
Ashley Judd. I'll watch a Kentucky game just to see her. Then I'll turn it off. But, all right. I'm sorry. I'm off track.
Ridiculous.
Go.
Automatic bids for you. Is it not okay to have an automatic bid just because who you are?
My thing is this: there are some automatic bids that don't belong.
Okay.
All right. There are some teams that don't go to NCAA because of the automatic bid.
All right.
That they get pushed out. The bubble teams. Yeah, whatever you want to call them. They get pushed out because the automatic bid. Don't get me started on, I think 64 teams is too much in the first place. But we know that, once again, all about the money.
It is.
All right.
It is.
But
do you watch the first round, though?
No, never. I probably don't watch it until the Sweet 16.
If you ever get to watch the first round, looking at the stadium, you have more empty seats than any other games.
Right.
I mean, you're right.
Well, that's
64.
because usually they're travel teams. You don't get a lot of.
You're right.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I understand the theory behind an automatic bid, but it's like you end up with teams that don't belong there and that aren't the top 64.
Does Wisconsin get an automatic bid next year based on this year? And that's what they've done in years past, is your Carolinas, your Dukes, your Kentuckys, your Kansas.
Regardless of how they've done.
Regardless, pretty much, as long as they're in the top 25,
Right.
and even if they're a little bit out of that bowl, they're going to get picked over even an NC State, a Miami.
There are a lot of great professional handicappers out there that can rank teams. You know, I always look at Jeff Sagarin, and he normally can get, I mean, he ranks teams pretty well. So, I mean, there are a lot of good people that are good at handicapping teams, and I'm not just talking from a Vegas perspective. I'm talking about what teams have the toughest schedules, what teams have performed the best in this and that know statistics way better than you and I could ever sit down and do. And those are the people that should be getting with the NCAA and deciding who gets what, who's ranked where, and who goes where. I think too much of it is political. Too much of it is, are we going to fill seats when I send a team here or I send a team there?
Right. And also, I mean, looking at it, I grew up in the ACC region. Believe it's one of the toughest regions in basketball. Years back and even up till today, Big Ten, and they always get more bids. The Pac-12 and all those get bigger bids and more bids, and they don't make it as far, even with as many teams in, or more teams, than the ACC. You've got more championships that's come to North Carolina thanks to State, Duke, Carolina, even a Wake Forest team, than in SEC and stuff of that nature. So is it because where you live, again, back to your Yankees theme there, is it because I like the ACC because it's a tough, or is it really because the ACC has blindfolded me to any other?
Yeah, you know, you always look at the ACC as being one of the tougher divisions in NCAA, and I think that fluctuates back and forth. It's been ACC for a long time. I know when I was the early 90s, the SEC was tough. LSU was hard to beat. Georgia had a tough team. Kentucky was in there. You know, and Alabama actually had a good team. It fluctuates back and forth for me. My point is that just because you win your conference doesn't mean you're one of the top 64 teams.
Right, because you could be a Cinderella, NC State, which they did go on and win the NCAA that year, but they win in the ACC.
I'll give you a prime example. I went to the University of New Orleans. We had a Sun Belt conference. I think it was a Sun Belt back then, or American South. We changed midway through my college years. We went 24-3. One of our losses was to a number 8 Arizona by 4 points. We went 17-0 in conference, which 17-0 in any conference is just phenomenal. All right, we traveled to Louisville. We play a number 3 we played number 3 Kansas and was blown out the building in the first half. Didn't belong there, but we got an automatic bid. 2 years later, did the same kind of run. I think we were 15-2. Traveled to, Richmond and played George Washington and lost by 15 or 17, 15. I don't quote me on the number, but we were, out of the game. And that's all because we had an automatic bid, which we didn't deserve.
Now, here again, though, on the other side of that, here recently, you've had a Syracuse almost getting beat by UNCA, which is a 1 and a 16, which never happens. A 1 never gets beat by a 16. As of yet, history has not been made.
Yeah. Just like a team never comes back from 3-0. But 2004 Red Sox.
Hey, a 1 and a 16.
I can't believe I just said that.
There's a possibility this year, a 1 and a 16.
1 and a 16.
I know that's going to be tough. That's still going to be a Duke,
you got
Virginia,
in for Kentucky.
And Kentucky. And I don't know if they're going to take Wisconsin at 1 or not, but I doubt they will. But Virginia's probably going to get a 1. Duke's going to get a 1. Kentucky's going to get a 1. Does any of those 3 teams get beat by a 16?
No.
No way.
No.
I'm not going with.
No, I don't see a 1 in 16 this year.
It depends on, does a Wisconsin or does, it's who.
I don't even see a 2 in 15 this year. They're pretty strong. 1 through 16, they are pretty strong teams. I mean, I don't see a 2 in 15 happening either.
Gotcha.
If you look at, I want to come back to it next week because I want to talk about who we got. Anything from you?
Nothing from me.
All right,
It's
so
who you got, Todd.
I know. Well, let's do the question of the day first.
All right.
So, yesterday's podcast, we got a couple of answers. Auburn, Alabama, good rivalry, statewide, strong, 365 days of bragging rights, and the big thing about that, a lot of Auburn, Alabama fans do go away from Alabama to work. Florida State.
To the old BCS way, though, Auburn, Alabama, into a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Auburn won against Alabama, they're almost in a bowl game automatic. If Alabama wins to Auburn, they're in a.
Now it's
you
all
can
in have those in the
rivalries.
same championship game.
You're right. It's all in the rivalry.
It is. So, question of the day.
All right.
Tweet us with your answers. Facebook us with your answers. Here's your question of the day. NCAA championship game. What was the largest margin of victory in an NCAA basketball championship game? I want the year, I want the team, and I want the score.
So are we going to give yesterday's answer to the
Yesterday's question of the day was, what was the only team never to have a 40 home run
40
hitter
home run.
in a season?
And that was...
Why are you mouthing it?
I forgot.
I honestly can't believe they've never had one. But George Brett never had a 40 home run season, and Kansas City Royals didn't either.
Gotcha.
All right. So,
if you'd have told me George Brett, I would have remembered.
I'm sorry. So, what was the largest margin of victory in the NCAA championship game? Year, team, and score. Tweet us, Facebook us. Let us know your answer. Don't go look it up on Wikipedia.
Nobody cares about that.
All right. So, moving on, who you got? You want to do a who you got?
Go ahead. I'll listen to yours, and then I'll give you one.
All right, who you got? So, Kobe Bryant was asked who he would build a team around. His answer, if he had to build a team around any player in the NBA today, his answer was James Harden.
Wow.
Not Russell Westbrook, not LeBron James, not Kevin Durant, not Carmelo, none of them. He went with a number 2 guard. Is he a 2 guard?
Right. Well,
Kobe?
he plays forward also, just like, LeBron James.
All right. He went with James Harden. Who you got? Who you building a team around?
Okay.
Any player right now. Don't think
Kevin
about
Durant.
it too hard.
I mean, last year it was Kevin Durant. This year, all of a sudden, you got James Harden getting thrown
Today.
And I don't like him. But I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with LeBron. I hate saying it. I would go with LeBron James as who am I going to build around, because people fill the seats for him still. People want to see him. People want to play with and against him.
I'd like to see how many minutes he's had on his knees compared to other players. We always talk about games played. Games played doesn't matter to me. I want to know how many minutes he's played compared to other people. How far is he into his career?
So
you're going with LeBron. Go ahead.
I'm going to give you the same question Kobe got, except I'm going to throw it out in baseball. Who is your person that you're going to build? Who is your pitcher that you're going to build around right now?
If I could have any pitcher,
yes,
to build around.
I
know he's got some. I am going to say, and this is purely a gamble, and it's not because he's a Yankee. It's only because he Tanaka from the Yankees. It's Tanaka from the Yankees only because I know he's hurt, but in the little bit you saw him last year, he was magical. He was unbelievable. I know the safe bets are Felix Hernandez, King Fernandez, King Felix is a good choice. But I'm going to go with Tanaka because when I see him, he has been unbelievable against the American League East. I like him. So, this has been Jeff the Bagman Baggett.
And this is James the Nose Holt.
And all I'm saying is, if 4 out of 5 people suffer from diarrhea, does that mean one of them actually enjoys it?
All I'm saying is taking me into my seats. I'm ready to watch the Tar Heels versus the Blue Devils down in Chapel Hill.
And we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Just Sayin'.
All right, listen up. Here's what we're going to do. Jimmy, they're going to be expecting you to take the last shot. We're going to use you as a decoy. Buddy, you get the ball, give them earl on the picket fence. He's going to take the last shot. All right, let's go. What's the matter with you guys? What's the matter with you?
I'll make it.
All right. Buddy, get the ball to Jimmy, top of the key. Buster, just spread the floor. Let's go. Let's see.